Some people might argue that RGB in PC builds is pretty pointless, and you'd probably be right, but you'd also be wrong, because I learned something today. Just one of the things I've learned by doing these RGB builds. But take a look at these sleeved cables. It's a black and red power supply sleeve and the GPU cable as well. And I first, when I bought this cable, I thought that you could see the red colors in the sleeve all the time, but that's not true, because it all depends on what kind of color you illuminate the red sleeve with. And then I noticed that when I was playing around with the color wheel on the fan illumination, and you can see it's like the power supply cable and the GPU cable are flashing with color. And all I've done here is that I made a little color shift, so it goes from blue, a really blue color, and then a little bit I slide it towards, it becomes a little bit more pink purple-ish, but it's a very subtle change, so you can hardly tell it. What really captures your eye is that all the red components in this build, they light up very strongly. So I have the PSU cables from the ATX 24-pin, the GPU cable, and there's also a little wireless network card in this build with a red heatsink on. And then you have the old school SATA cables in there as well. And I must say, this turned out way more interesting and cool than when I first expected with this build. You can do a lot of fun stuff. And now back to the original question here with this video. Is RGB pointless? Well, not if you look at it as I look at it as an education. I mean, I spend a lot of money buying these fans and doing this build, but I've learned so much stuff doing it. And today I learned about color theory and how you can make certain colors look like black when they're actually red. And that's really interesting. And I need to read up a little bit more on what's happening here, because now I can do a preset like this. If I stop the animation and I close it in a certain color, it looks like the PSU cables, that they're completely black. There, it looks black, but it's not. And with this you can create a lot of cool effects. I have some more of these cables on the way to me now with black and white. And I suspect they will behave quite differently, because with white cables you should be able to illuminate, they will reflect any color. Whereas if you go for colored PSU sleeves, extension cables like this, you can do this effect depending on what color you illuminate them with. So we'll see how that turns out, but it's definitely a fun project. And also pretty pointless, at least from a usage scenario. No, I'm just kidding. You get at least 100 more FPS in every game if you have a lot of RGB, and that's just facts. See ya.